Okay, this is the video for the second lesson for Wednesday, and the title is Changing the Subject of a Formula. Changing the subject of a formula. So let's just explain what that means. If I wrote this down, V is equal to U plus AT. That is a formula, okay? It's a general equation that will always give us the answer we're looking for, a formula, all right? So, what do I mean by the subject of the formula? Well, the subject of a formula means the letter or the unknown that is equal to something. It's basically the letter that's on its own. It doesn't have any other pluses, minuses, divisions, or anything like that. So we would say V is the subject of this formula because V is equal to U plus A times T. Okay, that's all it means. It's the letter or the number on its own that is equal to something. Fantastic. So today is about changing the subject of a formula. So if we were to rearrange this, I'll just quickly rearrange it. So it said A equals V minus U over T. We would now say that A is the subject of the formula. When rearranging a formula, we must use the same approach as when we're solving linear equations, okay? This whole idea of what you do to one side, you must do to the other. This is how we change it, okay? And just to remember for convention, whenever we finish, whatever letter we're trying to make the subject, always put it on the left-hand side, then the equals, then the other letters, okay? Or the rest of the formula. The subject always goes on the left-hand side. Okay, let's have a go at an example. It will all become clear once we have the example. Let's do it in blue. Y is equal to x plus 8. Alright, so you can't solve that because there's two unknowns. So, all I'm saying is make x the subject of this formula. At the moment we can see y is the subject because it's on its own. So now we want to make x the subject. Essentially we want to get x over here on its own and we want to put y back in there somewhere. But we can't just swap them around. We've got to be systematic and use the same system as solving linear equations. Whatever you do to one side you do to the other. Okay, so this is what we're trying to do. We will actually, with this one, it's quite simple, isn't it? What can we do to get x on its own? We want to get x on its own. Okay, we want it on this side, but do we have to actually move it across? Is there a simpler way of getting x on its own? Think about your linear equations. What happens if we subtracted 8? So we could say x plus 8, take away 8. Well, that'll just leave us x, won't it? But whatever we do to one side, we must do to the other. So we can say y, take away 8, is equal to x plus 8 minus 8. And that leaves us with y minus 8 equals x. Fantastic. We've done it. We've made x the subject. And just for convention, because we're fussing with mathematicians, we're just going to put it the other way around. You'll see those two things are identical. We've just switched the side that they're on. Okay, so just to reiterate, y is equal to x plus 8. We want to get x on its own. So it's easy in this case. We can just subtract 8. Y minus 8 equals x plus 8 minus 8. Leaves us with x equals y minus 8. We have successfully changed the subject of the formula from y to x. Let's have another go at doing this. How about we try y is equal to 2x take away 4. Okay, well, we want to get x on its own. At the moment, it's involved in a subtraction operation and a multiplication operation. So let's begin with subtraction. If we wanted to get x on its own and we were doing linear equations, how would we do that? Well, we'd add 4 to both sides, wouldn't we? So we can say y plus 4 equals 2x minus 4 plus 4, which becomes y plus 4 equals 2x. Superb. Alright then, that's looking better. Now, we're left with 2x. We want to get rid of this multiplied by 2. Well, I can already hear you telling the screen what you have to do. You have to divide by 2. Whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. So y plus 4 divided by 2 equals 2x divided by 2. These simplify, and we end up with y plus 4 over 2 equals x. We have successfully changed the formula, and because we're mathematicians, we'll write it like this. Do it in blue. X equals y plus 4 over 2. Just we put the x on the left hand side because we're fussy. Okay, so we've made from y the subject to x the subject. You can see what it's equal to is different. We can't just switch y and x around. We've got to follow the same process that we do for linear equations. Whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. Brilliant. Right then, I think it'd be handy if I did another example. Alright, let's have a go at this one. It's a bit more difficult, but I think you can handle it. Do it in blue. P equals K, open brackets, B plus T, close brackets. Make T the subject of this formula. So not P anymore, T. Alright? So, first things first, what should we get rid of to get T on its own? Well, we can't just get rid of this B straight away because it's being held in its brackets by K, multiplied by K. So we want to get rid of that multiplied by K. Well, we know how to do that, don't we? We divide by K. So we have to say P over K, because whatever we do to one side, we do to the other, equals K, open brackets, B plus T. Oh, goodness me, that's poor, isn't it? P plus T over K. These simplify, and we're left with P over K equals B plus T. Now I'm just using lots of letters here. Don't be put off by it. This is just algebra. You can do it with numbers if you wanted to. We'd be following the same steps. If K was 2, we'd be dividing by 2 instead of dividing by K. It makes no difference. Alright? Excellent. So, what are we left with? Well, we're left with B plus T. We want T on its own. Okay? We want T on its own. So we've got a positive T, B, positive B here, and we want to get rid of it. So how do we do that? Well, we take B away. Okay? So we have B, take away B, plus T. And on this side, because whatever we do to one, we do to the other, P over K minus B. Excellent. So that becomes P over K minus B equals T. And because we're fussy, put T on the left-hand side. Fantastic. We've successfully changed the subject of the formula. We've changed it from P to T. Have a go at those, copy these examples out, and have a go at the exercise that I've set on Edmodo. Okay? It's nice and simple. It's the same sort of stuff as these examples. Have a go at those. Remember, use your linear equation method. Whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. Have a go.